unlike any other in the world. For the better part of their approach, they'd be in loose formation, waiting to tighten their ranks just before. This meant that trying to hit the horsemen,
Guys, like watching a movie.
which was not accurate as they are today, were highly ineffective against the fast-moving targets. Then,
Wow.
in the final phase of the charge, the Hussar rank, which was typically
Today we're going to be reacting Wing Hussars Forgotten History. So this is like from Poland. These wing horses are people who know how to ride horses, who are good in riding horses and getting victory. And this have been years ago from Poland. So without no further ado, let's get to the video, guys. I'll see you guys in a bit.
when we think of fierce warriors from our past, the Roman legions
I like the graphics. I like the way I'm seeing.
and the Japanese
Wow.
samurai come to mind. But the winged horsemen are not commonly known. Yet these shock troops were one of the most devastating cavalrymen to ever mount a horse. The winged horsemen, also known as the winged Hussars, were a specialized cavalry unit that had spectacular victories. Thanks to their unparalleled horse riding skills, uniquely designed lances, and
Like I said,
they won against most opponents, even when heavily outnumbered. But their seemingly invincible prowess
with their heavy,
Who
with
were
their
the
heavy
winged horsemen?
skill horses.
Where did they hail from? And what happened to them? Let's try and find out. Hello, I'm Mike Droberg, a Marine Corps veteran, filmmaker, history enthusiast, and investigator of the supernatural. And we will answer these questions
Interesting.
on today's episode of Forgotten History.
Forgotten history. Wing horses.
The winged horsemen are of Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth fame. However, their roots are said to lie abroad, namely in Serbia.
I mean, I'm so glad I found this video.
In 1389, when Serbia suffered a heavy defeat from the
1389.
Ottoman Empire,
Bro,
Serbian
that's so
knights
long.
called Hussars sought revenge on the Turks. That's how they made their way to Poland, which were at odds with the Ottomans. Records from the 16th century list Serbian mercenaries having served as Hussars in the Polish military. Then, in 1576,
Interesting.
when the Hungarian Stefan Batory became king of Poland, he adopted the Hussars as a new Polish unit. So although the newly created cavalry was Polish, its roots were indeed international. Thanks to their incredible horseback riding skills, tactics, and lances, during the first 2 centuries of their existence,
Wow.
they would usually defeat their enemies while sustaining minimal casualties, while often being
I
heavily
mean, is there a spear to a gunfight, or this like 2 different videos? I mean, you're bringing a gun. I mean, you're bringing
Throughout their
the
existence,
spear
their gear
and sword
remained mainly unchanged.
to a gunfight.
They carried a lance, a sword, and sometimes pistols. Of these weapons, the lance was the most important, as it allowed for the unit's trademark attack, their deadly charge. Historian Dr. Radoslav Sikora explains the uniqueness of the Hussar lance. One of the reasons that the European armies were turning to firearms and away from cavalry charges was the
Bro,
appearance
you're
of
bringing a spear to a gunfight.
two-handed pikes that made the charges of lance-bearing knights largely obsolete. A knight's one-handed lance, as the other hand had to steer the horse, couldn't be as heavy as a pike and therefore had to be shorter. Consequently, the knights couldn't reach beyond the pikes, so charging was out of the question. But the winged horsemen found a way to get around this, a quite crafty one. They devised a hollow lance, something revolutionary at the time. Not only was it much lighter than the traditional one, but it also broke less easily. That's right, according to the laws of physics, a hollow lance is more robust than a full one. And thanks to the lower weight, the length could also be extended. Suddenly, the Hussar's lance could be over 6 meters long, longer than the pikeman's pike, which averaged about 5 meters in length. This clever weapon was glued from 2 hollowed pieces of a pole cut in half lengthwise. To make it more resilient, it would sometimes be wrapped in hemp fiber, and the end of the Hussar lance had a steel tip. Truly, the Hussar lance was a lethal weapon. In the Battle of Polonka, on the 28th of June in 1660, a single blow from it impaled 6 Russian footmen. In the Battle of Kochum, on the 7th of September 1621, Hussar lances impaled up to 3 or 4 mounted
Bro,
Turks
like
at
all
once.
these years
Hussars
and
would
years,
charge an
and
enemy unit at full
I'm sure
speed,
that nobody's
wreaking havoc,
great grandfather
trampling, and scaring
or
the living
dads were
daylights out
born.
of all those who lived to tell the tale. If needed, after passing through the ranks, they'd turn around and charge again. After the lances broke, they'd use their swords or pistols to fight, employing the horses to trample the enemy. The Venetian envoy Hieronymo
Wow.
Pomano wrote in 1575, during the battle, the Poles would do everything possible to look as if there was more of them than there really was.
Bro,
Frighten the
like I
enemy,
said, like,
and
are you
drag them
bringing
with feathers,
a
attach
sword and
to
spear to a
themselves,
gunfight?
put leopard or bear
How are they
skins
still
on their
winning?
shoulders. The sight of the wings, which were attached to wooden slats with eagle, falcon, or vulture feathers and fastened to their backs, would scare off enemy horses. The predator skins were meant to spook enemy soldiers, as did the red war paint they put on their steeds. All in all, the Hussars must have been quite a sight to see in battle. Thanks to their prowess in the art of war, the Hussars were capable of defeating a great variety of enemies, to include the Russians, Ottomans, and the Mongols. The Hussars' charge was unlike any other in the world. For the better part of their approach, they'd be in loose formation, their ranks just before reaching the enemy.
Guys, like watching a movie.
Horsemen with firearms, which was not accurate as they are today, were highly ineffective against the fast-moving targets. Then, in the final phase of the charge, the Hussar rank, which was typically 100 strong, were tightened, and the enemy musketeers only had enough time to take one shot before the pikemen came in front of them to protect them with their pikes. And the musketeers and pikemen often fought together, so the first good shot opportunity was usually their last. Moreover, musketeer firing accuracy was hindered by the psychological effect of the charging Hussars.
I mean, guys, it's like watching a movie
Encountering a
documentary.
speeding wall of impaling lances and trampling horses must have been a truly horrific experience. Due to the charge's immense effectiveness, it was typically used to break enemy ranks in the decisive phase of a battle. Hussars were also deadly because they were an elite unit. Joining the Hussars was an expensive endeavor. You needed the finances to possess the right horse and gear to join them, as well as the resources to replenish your war losses.
Interesting.
This high entry level meant that there was never more than 10,000 of them at any one time, usually only a few thousand. Most Hussars came from well-off noble families. Hussar service was voluntary, often laden with success, and provided great social prestige. The Hussars were seen as the best of the best in the Polish military, and the morale of the Hussars was famously high. That is one of the reasons why they could win when they were highly outnumbered. Another reason was the Hussar horse. The breed of horse used by the Hussars was a special one, a hybrid of the Polish horse and horses from Turkey and Persia. Fast,
So you have different horses.
high stamina. The Hussar speed played a crucial role in the winged horsemen's victories. Not only was the value of such a horse huge, comparable to that of a whole village, but it was also subject to a strict law of ownership and was forbidden under penalty of death to sell one abroad. These outstanding horses were trained arduously to be fit for battle. They had to be able to halt abruptly and to turn around using
Can literally never sell them.
further training ensued when they became part of a unit, so that they could perfect riding in a group. The Hussar soldiers themselves were also well trained for combat. Their fighting education started when they were very young, and it was customary for a retired Hussar to teach the children of noblemen the basics of fencing or handling a lance. After they joined the winged horsemen, it was practice in battle.
Guys, like I said, it's like watching a movie documentary. I mean, I'm so glad
was filled with war. One of the first battles occurred when
so
the
glad
Soviets sought to capture the city of
I
Riga.
reacted to this video, guys. So glad I found this video.
The Polish commander, Jan Karol Chodkiewicz, tricked and lured the enemy into the open. The two armies met near Kochum, today's Salapils, a town 20 kilometers away from Riga. There the Swedes took an advantageous position on a slope behind a stream. After informing his far outnumbered troops, 3,500 against 11,000, about his plan, Chodkiewicz pretended to retreat. The Swedes pursued, and then to their surprise were counterattacked by the Poles, including the Hussars charging downhill. The battle ended with a spectacular victory for the Polish forces. Another example of their victory was in the Battle of Chosin in 1621. A 200,000 invading Ottoman army moved to conquer all of Poland. Polish forces, less than 100,000 men, decided to confront the Turks in a fortified war camp near the town of Chokum, or Khotin, in
Hmm.
today's western Ukraine.
Just like I
It
said,
lasted for over a month, with the Poles mainly defending.
I know that this might be a movie or
the
something, but
Turks' march.
this is so
This
interesting.
episode of the battle occurred when the Turks broke into the ramparts on the
Oh,
7th of September. It
this is me
led
like
by
watching
600
a movie
Hussars
right
who
now.
routed the camp and charged the enemy soldiers,
Wow.
10,000 of them, and made them flee all the way back to their own camp. Because of
Oh.
triumphs like these, the Hussars used to say that they were under the protection from the heavens themselves, but this heavenly protection wasn't going to last forever. As time went on, the Hussars' opponents learned how to fight against them. One tactic, for example, was to use the so-called Frisian horses, a portable and spiked anti-cavalry obstacle that could be placed on the battlefield to protect the shooters. When used correctly, Frisian horses completely blocked any possibility of a successful charge by the Hussars, as was demonstrated at the Battle of Kislev in 1702. Also, in that fated battle, sometimes called the beginning of the Hussars' demise, their Swedish opponents used new laser-shooting muskets, which were more lethal to the horsemen. The Hussars eventually left the battlefield, and the fight was lost by the Polish troops and their Saxon allies. This happened about 18 years after one of the Hussars' greatest triumphs, the Battle of Vienna. Also, during that war, Poles occasionally fought on both sides, an ignoble fact which proved detrimental.
So many history in Poland.
Including the Hussars.
I always enjoy everything about Poland,
Their
guys.
attitude was never the same. Their reputation had also suffered, as the quality of the soldiers seeking to join the Hussars decreased. This, as well as the use of anti-cavalry weapons and the improvement of the firearms and the slumping Polish economy, were the main reasons behind the end of the Hussars. They officially ceased to exist in 1776.
Oh, that's so sad, dude.
Today, the remnants of their legacy
1776. So, guys, they ceased to exist, but their memory will never be forgotten.
With the Polish land forces of the 11th Armored Cavalry Division. Thanks for watching today's episode of Forgotten History. Please like, share, and subscribe. Send us your comments.
We've literally come to the end of the video.
Let us know if you have any show ideas.
What do you guys enjoyed about this video? Because I just think it's a history that will never be forgotten. I enjoyed every bit of this video. Like I said, I'm so glad I get to find this video, guys. And the fact that this video, as you said, is like the wing horses, a forgotten horsemen, but they were so good with horses that they win victories. And what got me so intrigued was how they use the spear and the sword to fight the opponent with guns. Like you literally can't bring a sword, a knife to a gunfight, right? But these guys find their way to still make that victory. And their horses, one thing they picked was in their horses stand out, and their horses can never be sold in a different country. That will result to death penalty. Wow. This is actually the first time we're hearing that. So guys, if you enjoyed this video, kindly leave a positive comment down below in the comment section. Let me know what you enjoyed about this video so we can talk about the video. My comment section is down below for you guys to drop your positive comments and your suggestion links for videos for me to react to. Thank you guys for watching, and do not forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video, which is coming up, guys. Do widzenia. Na razie.